I finally had enough. Walked out. Delivery place with no delivery drivers left now. Original post. I've spent the last 3 years delivering pizza for one of the mega chain companies, and I'm finally freaking done. Minimum wage, of course, and a flat rate delivery fee paid to the driver of $1.50. They charge you $4 for delivery, we get $1.50 of it. Most days there is nothing but a single driver and a manager trying to run a place, doing 30 plus pizzas per hour. From 11 a.m. to midnight. Closing and cleanup takes until a minimum of 2 in the morning, and I've had days where I came home past 4 early morning. Customers screaming, ranting, canceling orders all day long. Orders flooding in non-stop, all day and night. It's like living in a constant panic attack. Always stressed, always a dozen things that still need doing, and a dozen other things that nobody did. At the beginning of COVID, this store had about 16 drivers on staff. Barely adequately covered with those, but doable. Gradually lost about 2 per month to where we are now. Gigantic delivery area that they refuse to contract at all, that can't be covered by anything less than 6 drivers, double that when busy, which we are, non-stop. We've had 2 drivers all summer, which is totally insane considering we're open 7 days and 13 hours per day until a month ago. Now they have none. I've been working an average of 70 hours per week, some weeks over 90, averaging over 700 miles per week on my car. Tips have gone to rock bottom. Easily half of people don't even tip at all anymore. In the beginning of COVID, a 70-hour week was easily over $1,000 in my pocket. Since the beginning of this year, it's gradually dropped to maybe $500 max. And I'm just totally exhausted and stressed the heck out nonstop. They won't raise the wage. Franchise owner swears people are just lazy and frequently intimates that all his current employees are just lazy whiners. So, last night, 20 deliveries on the board, and I'm the only driver. Makeline is backed up at least 45 minutes, walk-in customers mostly walking out when they come in to order and see what's going on. He's working the counter for his once-per-month shift, where he mostly just screams and gets in the way, lying to customers telling them it'll be 15 minutes for their order when we're at a minimum of an hour. And he decides I'm not moving fast enough, in front of a dozen customers, all standing in the front, angry, waiting for their extremely late food. Owner, you need to goddamn run with those deliveries. People are hungry. Then say lazy duck under his breath. Had it. Done. No more. Enough. Dropped all the food I was carrying in the middle of the floor. Ran out back, cashed myself out, took my lock off my locker, emptied my stuff. Went out front, brought in the stupid company car topper and tossed it into the pile of food on the floor, and just left. No idea what he was screaming while it happened. Don't care. So finally and totally done with his and every other boss out there who acts like this and runs a business like this. It's not a business when they think this is how to run things. It's some kind of ego-stroking, half-baked hobby, and I ain't here for it anymore. On the plus side, I slept 12 hours last night for the first time in forever and feel amazing as heck today. It's like a huge lump of stress, rage, hatred, and panic has just evaporated inside. Highly recommended to all. Freaking quit. Walk on the bastard, walk out, move on. Quit. Do it. They deserve it. Now for the top comments before reading the multiple updates. I want to read some customer reviews from that night, just for shits and giggles. Oddly enough, one of the regular Door Dashers that picks up pretty often was there. Cool dude, clearly a mega stoner. He seemed amused at least, but most of the customers looked uncomfortable. Man, that's absolutely terrible to read. It's not much, but even though I never get delivery, I still tip 10% even going in store. No idea how it's distributed, but my hope is that it helps someone that needs it more than I do. If it's taken by management or whatever, let me know. We go to Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Marco's pretty frequently. Sorry you had to go through that, but hope you move forward onto a better path. Worked at a Marco's. At my store, if you tipped with a card, we never saw it. Cash tips were distributed among the insiders. Honestly, even a couple bucks goes a long way. The amount of people who didn't tip on deliveries was way higher than it should be. Hey, please give us an update of how the weekend goes. Just want to hear the boss losing his mind. It would give me some much needed serotonin. Thank you. We're now up to 4 or 5 texts and a panicky voicemail from Boss Douche. Dunno, I'm having some edibles and watching Archer and having pizza I picked up from a competitor. A well-staffed competitor, with better food. Calling you into work, as if you weren't clear enough yesterday. Like damn, you can't quit much more dramatically than that. Yeah, thought I made it pretty damn clear I was done. Now up to 4 texts and a very panicky sounding voicemail. Still haven't responded yet. Tell the dude you're definitely coming in so he keeps pumping out those pizzas that won't be delivered. Screw him, have a drink and giggle your butt off. LMAO, this is amazing. Now for the updates. Update the day after. The owner just texted wanting to know if I was coming in tonight, Friday night. Dude, it's Friday and you're late already. Are you coming? I got no drivers here and already over 20 deliveries sitting here. WTF. Just ignore or be a douche, trying to decide. I definitely am never going back. Update to the day after. I'll wait and post the texts if they actually get good, but so far they're almost all just repeats of, are you coming in or not? Until the last one below, it's not as good as one would hope for. Until, that is. The latest text, up to 8 now. I'm gonna freaking sue you for ruining my business and job abandonment. Don't know how that works, but I'm just high enough now to have responded. Hope your lawyer is cheap, because I worked for you cheap bastard, so you know I'm freaking broke. Free advice, don't sue poor people. We ain't got anything. Now, apparently, I'm fired. Woe is me. Sunday update. So, I'm fired, even though I quit. Don't care, but definitely filing for unemployment, since he was dumb enough to fire me via text after walking out. Can't wait for his freak out when they send through the paperwork for that. However, so I drove by this morning, thinking I'll be decent and return my uniform shirts and whatnot, try to act like an adult or whatever. And, he is closed today. Sign on the door, handwritten, that simply says, closed today due to lack of staff. Texted around to my former coworkers, and apparently his rage fits all night Friday, and all day and night Saturday, costed him 2 of his insiders and shift runners. There are only 4 left as it was, and the other daytime driver told him to go F himself, and walked out as well, midday Saturday. Dude is self-destructing, I guess, and doesn't seem to care if he torpedoes his business. Now he has absolutely no drivers, and only his store GM, and an insider, a 17-year-old who only works 10 hours a week after school, left. Oh well. Left my uniform shirts in the dumpster around the corner. Now for the full update. And how's your Thursday night going, guys? This is gonna be long. The TLDR is, he nearly gets himself arrested because he won't accept that I quit. So, got a knock on my door today, and I answer it to my former boss. Not happy about that, as I seriously dislike people just showing up at my house uninvited. Okay, what the heck? So, ex-boss, so now that you've had some time, are you ready to grow up and be a man and come back to work? Friday tomorrow, and I need my people. Me, the heck did you just say? Grow up and be a man. I quit. We're done. Go away. I don't have anything to say to you. I start to go inside, but he launches into an unbelievable rant about being closed half this week, and that's all my fault. It seems the rest of the crew followed me out, and all he has left is his general manager. He's losing money, and how is he supposed to staff a store open 100 hours a week with just him and his GM, and it's my fault for quitting. He's spending so much in DoorDash fees sending out deliveries that he is gonna go broke any minute now. Just slack-jawed disbelief. I can't believe this Nimrod won't leave me alone. He's let his staff dwindle from nearly 30 employees pre-COVID down to the last half dozen or so, and we all bailed finally as well. And this is my fault. Me, I don't give a damn. I'm not interested. I don't care. I don't know how else to tell you. Why are you here? I'm not going to work for you ever, for any reason. Go away. Ex-boss, you're just a child and a freaking coward. Get back to work. I need you there. Me, go screw yourself, and get off my property. I slam the door, head inside. He's on my front porch, banging on the door like a goddamn maniac, and my dogs are losing their minds. He's screaming and ranting at the top of his lungs, threatening to sue me for job abandonment, for ruining him and bankrupting him, and how it's my fault his kids are gonna starve and be homeless. My neighbors are starting to hear him. It's a beautiful day out, and everybody has their windows open, so it's kinda hard not to hear him. Finally, I've had enough listening to this. The poor nice old guy across the street is standing on his lawn with his next door neighbor, and they're trying to figure out what the heck is going on over here. He starts to leave at least, finally, and because I'm a petty child, as he walks away ranting, I pop the door open real quick and stick my head out and yell, "Your pizza sucks, and you suck if you think one driver can save your awful business. Hope you go bankrupt so I can laugh at you panhandling on the street corner in a month, you cheap asshole." That, maybe, wasn't the best idea. I slammed the door shut real quick. He ran back up, pounded on the door and started screaming some more. Probably another good 20 minutes of his noise and BS. My neighbor actually went back inside and called me. I love Bill, he's a great guy. I told him what's happening, and he just laughs his butt off. Asked if he should maybe call the police over the domestic disturbance going on at my house. I won't say I told him to do it, but I certainly didn't tell him not to. So, my former boss is standing on my front lawn right now, Blue lights from 3 police cruisers are flashing among the house as the sun sets on a lovely New England day. I'm sure he won't get arrested, although I'd love to see it. But my oh my, he certainly seems all agitated. The poor cops look bored, frankly. They only talked to me for a few minutes, and I told them he's just an ex-boss that won't accept that I freaking quit. They didn't seem all that amused. Oh well, not my problem. Called one of my former coworkers, one of the others who has quit in the week since I've been gone, and it seems that ex-boss was just at his house and was yelling at him too. Freaking hell, what a douche. I'm just sitting on my deck around the side of the house, watching my ex-boss as he sheepishly tries to explain harassing an ex-employee at his home to the police. Peaceful, stress-free, and well-rested after quitting his awful job. Maybe I should wave at him. Now for more comments before the last update. It would be a damn shame if the local news picked up on this story with door cam footage. I don't know, I could definitely see it being a very entertaining piece to highlight poor working conditions and how it connects to no one wants to work. But I could also more likely see them spinning it in a way that paints OP as a bad lazy person who won't work and drove this poor innocent small business owner to snap. And suddenly this guy is getting tons of support and applications from the bootlickers who think this guy must be one of them and align with their values. Similar story in my local news about a guy who put up a sign in his storefront that was in very poor taste in my opinion about not being able to find workers. And they did an update, and he was talking about the hundreds of applications he received and how much business he was getting after the first news piece. Might be best to just let owner run himself into the ground with no recognition. Although I still want to see that door cam footage because it would be hilarious. Videotape it and sue him for harassment. Maybe you can leverage his behavior to get unemployment. Unemployment papers already filed, since Dum Dum fired me via text after I quit. I'm pretty sure my door camera caught it all, so we may have to see what an attorney has to say about his behavior. Don't screw up your case, but if it's funny, I bet nameless chumps on Reddit would love to see the vid. I might still have to fight it, and I damn sure will. Don't even desperately need the money, already found another, way better job, but it'll really anger him once he sees those papers come across his desk. Worth it. Like what the heck was he thinking? Being abusive would make you want to come back. How about more money and better shifts instead of being a meathead? Yeah, not too bright. Maybe if he was more of an asshole, I'd come back. Joke. More update. So, as a post below suggested, I've actually just texted a few other coworkers who have also recently quit. So far, 2 others have responded saying this guy showed up at their house. One just told him to F off, slammed the door in his face and ignored him, and the other wasn't home, but his mother answered, and he tried giving her grief over her kid quitting. Haven't yet heard back from anybody else, but yeah, looks like I'll be herding a few of us together to an attorney. They're all down for it. This is messed up. Dude can't be bothered to hire anybody for months, works his staff to death, demeans them until they walk out, and then goes to their house to be even more of an ass. Yo, this is getting fun now, for a petty prick with too much time on his hands. A keen sense of mess with me and find out, and a definite plan to call more than a few attorneys in the morning. Things just got good. He's working the counter for his once-per-month shift where he mostly just screams and gets in the way, lying to customers telling them it'll be 15 minutes for their order when we're at a minimum of an hour. He was really screwing over the OP here. I mean, I get why he wants to lie to the customers. If a customer calls and they hear it's a minimum of 1 hour wait, they're going to call a different pizza place. But who's going to tip a delivery driver who is at least 45 minutes late? After all, the pizza place said it was going to be 15 minutes, so this must be the delivery driver's fault. No wonder it was so easy to decide to just walk out. I have a coworker like that. She overpromises so she gets happy clients kissing her behind, and then it's the rest of us who have to deal with the reality. My department had a boss like that. Ended up having something like 200% annual turnover in an industry where 25% is normal, and because she overpromised, and neither she nor her staff ever delivered, our constituents, both internal and external, stopped trusting us as a department. I came on board about 6 months after she was finally driven out, and I still have to deal with cleaning up her messes with internal clients. Isn't the first lesson of business to underpromise and overdeliver? Like, I'm sure a customer would be delighted to hear I can fart rainbows, but I absolutely know it's not going to happen. And I'm only going to end up disappointing them and embarrassing myself when I can't. That is absolutely rule number 1 at the business I own, and I have a 100% satisfaction rate with every customer I've ever had. It does, however, seem to me that I'm in the minority, as every other business I've ever worked at, including my day job, does exactly the opposite, and they can't understand why everyone is stressed and everything is in chaos. OP is right, his former boss is an absolute Nimrod, losing staff hand over fist and belittling the ones he had left until they too had enough. What a fantastic example of how not to run a business. I go on that sub because this was actually the normal way to run a business pre-COVID. Food service sucks. Then they fired most of their employees during 2020 instead of using the PPP loans. Then they got slammed as we were freed from lockdowns. They tried business as usual and were shocked at the walk-offs. It's been fun to watch. Shouldn't have bought that Lexus with your PPP. I have zero care to give. A lot of the small business owners I know who got the PPP loans used them the way they were intended and were genuinely concerned about their staff. But the ones who didn't, who used that money to finance personal purchases and still laid off staff and cut corners and were just general douche nozzles, infuriated me. And it's not like anyone on the ground floor watching this couldn't see it coming.